Transmutation and Toxic Positivity. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I'm going to talk about this topic. I think it's a great topic to tap on. Thank you guys for hopping in. Thank you for sharing your time. You could be doing millions of other things, and I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you want to hop in on the live, you're more than welcome. And please adhere to the topic. What's going on? Grand Rising. So, transmutation and toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is becoming a bigger realization with people. And it's a good thing. Now, toxic positivity is in the sense where clearly something is going on in front of you, and you choose to close your eyes and reimagine something completely different away from the actual situation. It's a lot different than optimism in a sense. Optimism is also technically, in my opinion, closer to transmutation than toxic positivity, where toxic positivity is in the sense of also saying that, oh, everything's going to be A-okay, 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 A-okay. When in reality, life is like this. Waves. Life is not this. Well, life is not always this. Life is really this. Still going up, though. You know why it's still going up? Because that incline is literally your experience. That is the incline. So with that being said, with the incline, when you start taking responsibility and acknowledge every single instance in your life down to this very moment is your responsibility, and you acknowledge that that's how you got there. Some may even say, let's talk about being maybe abused as a kid, so to speak. Specifically and especially immigrants, especially here in America, in that sense. Let's talk about that. And some may say that it's an ancestral thing, where it literally started with some of our ancestors that dealt with so-and-so, and it created a shift all the way to today of why, some of us was brought up a certain way in the outside looking, and some may say more in a harsh manner, so to speak, right? And versus people who've been here in generations after generations, longer than immigrants coming in, have less of that, you would say, harsh set of reality, in a sense. And most of it comes from a survival aspect of perception versus in a thriving aspect of a perception, right? So when we take responsibility for that and acknowledge that, hey, because some may even say our soul contract chose to be here in this very moment in time, right? So that is also your fault. It's your fault. The day you take responsibility for everything rather than blaming, oh, it's because of this, because I'm this way, and because of this, I'm this way. When in actuality, you could literally hold your breath or hold your exhale, whatever the case may be, for a very long time and cease to exist in this plane of reality versus taking another breath and moving forward or moving backward, depending on what the situation is. That is a choice. A lot of people say, well, the choice, the illusion of choice, there's an illusion of choice. It doesn't really exist in a sense. When in actuality, at least there's some finite of choice. You may call it an illusion of choice, but hey, it's still a choice, right? No matter if you call it illusion of choice or a divine path that you truly have no influence over. Well, that's why some people say that when we start taking responsibility, we actually go in the passenger seat with the driver, that is the co-creator, God, Allah, universe, however you want to describe that in a sense, and that's why you are a co-creator. And the essence of co-creation, it's not just saying that I'm co-creating with the all that is, when in actuality everything is all, everything is mind, as they say too. But we're also co-creating with the echoes from the main source that is. That's the main point of also saying co-creation. Responsibility is empowerment. Putting your back in the driver's seat. Yes. Indeed. So going back to transmutation and toxic positivity, I think this is a great topic to touch on. I saw someone wanted to go live. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, if anybody wants to hop in live, you're more than welcome. That incline is your experience. Exactly. So no matter how you look at life in general, we are always heading towards an inclined direction, no matter how you look at it, because that incline is the composite, the history that you start to build up of your experiences, and you can say the trajectory of where your consciousness is, or your consciousness is aligning to. That is the point of the graph, that life is literally this, in a sense. Life is not always this. How can life be this when you have your ups and downs? Everyone deals with it. Your ups and downs. And when I mean ups and downs, it doesn't always mean sad and then you're happy type of thing. It means, no matter how you look at it too, when you acknowledge, going back to toxic positivity, even the people around you, if you were to tell me that, hey, I'm happy all the time, when in actuality, that's farther from the truth, because someone can be walking right next to you and they're sad. Do you have any control over your mirror neurons? The body doesn't know the difference. So the body experiences sadness. Still, no matter how happy you may perceive yourself to be or feel yourself to be, right? And that's why it's so important to acknowledge the inner core that is you, and that's not you at the same time, because we interact with all different emotions and it fluctuates. That's why some people say, hey, Devon, do you still experience sadness, anger, all that type of stuff? I'm like, of course. It's just the way that I deal with it. I don't let it get stuck in a region of my body. I actually breathe through it, acknowledge it, rather than closing my eyes or imagine something completely outside of that reality. And that's the beauty of transmutation versus toxic positivity. When transmutation, you're acknowledging the actual environment. You're acknowledging that, yes, okay, this environment is real. And with toxic positivity, you're not directly looking at, you're looking at solutions to the end all that is, when that could be farther from the truth. There's still a percentage of chance for it to happen. So with the transmutation aspect, you're going straight to the core and be like, all right, how can we look at the direct core problem of what led to this in the first place, and transmute that core problem and shift it to where the alignment that you're attracting in your reality and experiences is totally shifted from what you just experienced. At least you acknowledge it. Because when you acknowledge it, at least you can have a taste, right? You have a taste of, all right, this is this. I know that is. Versus, I don't want to say versus, but aligning to toxic positivity, you're only seeing things in a one-dimensional way, when in actuality we live in a multi-dimensional world. We have multi layers of experiences, emotions, and what we attract in our day-to-day lives in the contrast. I'm gonna wave to my people here, and you have a choice how you react to the situations in your life. Choose the incline. And when choosing the incline, you're also acknowledging that, hey, I can learn from this situation rather than letting this particular situation, and that's also toxic positivity, saying that this situation is my identity. This situation defines the rest of my life, when in actuality, no. I like when some people just hop on my page sometimes, and they see that one post that may go against some of their beliefs in a sense, and will say that, all right, based off that one post, this is you. When in actuality, I'm like, that post don't define me. My Instagram doesn't define me. I do things outside of social media that that has value, so to speak, to society in deeper ways, in so many different ways in that sense. So that's another aspect of toxic positivity, where you have this layer that you perceive to be your identity, when in actuality, your identity is a circumference of every experience that you have. And that can't be defined or confined into one particular moment, or one particular aspect of your action. No. No. Yeah, come to the realization that every day is not going to be sunny, says Mocking Crowd. Thank you, brother. Yes. Yes. The sun goes down, here comes the darkness. Sometimes it's going to be beautiful rain. Hey, but in actuality, here's a beautiful aspect of transmutation. When you see all those different layers of the elements, right, and you experience all those elements, right, you find the foundation of that element. Where's all those things coming from? The sky, right? You can point into that one directional harmony, so to speak, and that can give you the awareness that there is a source, essence, intelligence beyond human comprehension, that is the natural law, the natural governance, that is echoing all through time and existence of plane and this living dimensional reality that we live in. So, tapping back into the transmuting aspect, when we see all these different elements, what is the main element that is interacting with all those elements? You can say it's the wind. You could say it's the air element that holds the water, that gives fire the life, that carries the rain, that carries the thunder and helps combust the thunder that we experience and hear, that carries the sound of the thunder to our eardrums, and the vibration that carries it. Yeah, so how do you guys, if you didn't know, I released Land Down Under recently, subliminal breathwork, Land Down Under, and I was literally playing the 528. It's a nose flute at this point. 528 nose flute. Does anybody want to hop on live? I keep seeing people live requests and then they just disappear. You guys are more than welcome to hop on. I hope it's not my end that's giving you the issue. Let me know. But transmuting. So tapping back into transmutation. The more we start to realize our transmutational gifts, because we do it all the time, and here's how you do it. You can take all the knowledge that you accumulated over the time of your whole entire lifespan, and that is affecting your actions, is it not? That's transmutation. Boom. We've been doing it. We've been doing it. We take that thought, we take that internal dialogue that builds our perception and internal reasoning to co-create or experience what we experience and quote-unquote transmute that. Wants to go live. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, greetings, brother.
Hello, brother. So I want to talk about a thing about elemental breathing. I don't know if you have this knowledge, but I know some breathing techniques. So I want to share with you guys if you want to. I just
I really
studied.
wanted to stay on topic with the transmutation versus toxic positivity, brother, if you can.
Yeah, you can use these breathing techniques for elemental. Yeah, like you got fire, you got this is air. Sorry, but the fire is like inhaled by the mouth, like elemental breathing. I studied this in a course of Egyptian Sekhem energy. I don't know if you know this, but
Yeah,
you can
I'm familiar.
transmute
I'm
like
familiar. I'm familiar. Well,
like
in hindsight, the elements are always around us, down to the sun being the fire, the wind being uh, air in that sense, carrying the water energy in that sense. But elementals is right in front of you, down to the actual human being right in front of you, and utilizing that in a sense, going beyond the physical dense aspect of elements. There's other elementals that transmute and echo down into the quantum of astral breathing in itself that plays its role in affecting your emotional intelligence and how you attract certain things into your everyday life. And that's so important, down to how you breathe in front of somebody and utilize that, where that
yeah,
person can be very toxic in itself in terms of what they're transmuting to you. And then you can learn how to quote unquote transmute it down to mirror breathing, where someone is talking and that person
hmm,
technically is enveloped with all the elements, because we are literally the whole universe inside of us, every element known to man. That person's talking, that'll be your exhale. And then when they inhale, you inhale with them. Now you're mirroring them. And then when they're talking, you exhale longer and longer. And this is mainly with the nose, because the nose is the closest thing to the brain hemisphere, and it's a great, powerful connection to the mirror neurons in general to the other person, and that's direct communication versus a lag time with the mouth breathing. So whenever they inhale, and most of the time, most people around the world most likely inhale with their mouth while they're talking. So whenever they inhale, and you're only breathing with the nose in the upper atmosphere closer to the brain in that sense, they inhale, but you still elongate the exhale at a certain point while they're talking and talking, and then they inhale, and then you'll start to see them start to calm down in a sense, because they're mirror neurons deep down. That's why I say that person can go rob a bank, that person can do XYZ, so to speak, and they can go to jail. When they're in jail, deep down, their body is still healing, right? So that is the core foundational element in everybody. Everyone deep down is healing, and that's you can say a conscious, unconscious meditation that the body is already doing without even a thought. So when you can harmonize with that core essence of anybody, that's another core element. But now you're dealing with the whole elemental aspect. Just that one tiny explanation shows you how deep it goes, way beyond the physical aspect of even breath at that point in time, because it's not just the breath that's keeping us alive, it's the breathing mechanics behind the breath, beyond the actual physical aspect of air, electricity, things of that nature. And that's why I say your breathing pattern affects your life patterns in general, and they go hand in
yeah,
hand. Just like how the breath animates the body, well, we have our emotional bodies. We have, and those emotional bodies carry different elements, right? Down to when you're angry, right? You have more fire because you're angry. You're upset, right? Down to when you're a little bit sad and woozy, in a sense. There's more water, in a sense, right? So those are different elements within itself that we experience through different emotional resonance of being, and we have different breathing patterns that invokes that. So when we can learn to create a foundational tight core, not tight core, but a deeper connection to the core that sparks that has a same exact, not a same exact resonance, but a same, a similar resonance where we can find, no matter what emotional we go into, when we can draw it back into specific patterns of the breath, we don't let the emotions or the elements control us, in a sense where the spirit element in general, the core element, is not to uh, it's not controlled easily or persuaded by emotions, and that goes way beyond what we feel and think, because thoughts, they come and go, emotions, they come and go. But what's the main constant that we experience beyond emotion and beyond resonance and even the physical aspect? It's the core spirit in itself. That's why I say the breath in itself is the extension of the spirit. And I hope I went really deep into different elements, and even going beyond the aspect of elements. A lot of people are really quick to say, all right, this element, this, but we're forgetting how the basis of those foundations echoes into, you can say, complexities. I don't want to say complexities, but different aspects of ourselves, because we're multidimensional. We're not confined into one specific dimension of uh, in perception of just physical aspects, because the physical plays a contrast, and we're literally breathing with it back and forth into the astral as well. Just like in Chinese medicine, where we can look at the person's aura and say that, all right, this organ needs help, this, your kidneys are this right now, and what's happening here? Well, the physical is echoing back into the astral. And beyond the astral, it's echoing through vibrational intelligence that is. And that in itself has its own emotion, right? The vibrational intelligence, where a certain frequency, that's why there's millions of different frequencies that do millions of different things. And that's why it's actually healthy to invoke, in terms of, I like to say, frequency nutrition, invoking on the body, because the body is made up of millions of different frequencies. A lot of people like to pay attention to one particular frequency, when if you look at the Montauk experiment, the Philadelphia experiment with Einstein and stuff like that, there's a reason, oh, whoa, so it's all a black hole. There's a reason why the ship went into the wall, but all the crew members died, because they forgot that, sure, they found the vibration of the wall, but they forgot that the people, us in general, is generating at millions of different frequencies all at once, down to the bone. Like our collarbone has a different frequency than our, down to our nose bone. And the collagen inside our body, the plasma in our body holds different frequencies, down to the thought pattern at that particular time holds different frequencies. So all these different layers play a huge role into the contrast that we have with elementals. That is, so it goes even way beyond. It goes even way beyond. Where do you go? It goes way beyond the physical aspect of confining what elementals really is. Where'd he go? Man, I went deep on that one. Does transmutation mean your body will change shape in your face, can pick up someone's shape? Well, over time, some people say that you start to look more and more like your partner, or you start to, sometimes your pets will start to look like you, and that is your mirror neurons always communicating back and forth. And it reminded me when I used to live with a bunch of roommates and stuff. When they saw me juicing and all that stuff, I didn't have to say one word to them. Like, they saw how healthy I was too, and how happy and less stressed I was compared to them. They started, being more health conscious without me even saying anything, which goes to show you how powerful just being in itself can really impact your environment and the people around you and your family in general. I know that's a tough one to swallow, especially when it comes to family. of leading the pack, and it may give the perception it's a lonely road, but how can something or an experience truly be lonely when other people is experience the same thing as you? When when I said again, there's no such thing as a lone wolf. Even though we're not physically there with you, there's people that is experiencing the same exact thing. And I'm sure many of you on here that care so much about your family. I know I'm part of it. Care so much about your family. You want to share these things, and most of the time, most cases, they don't want to listen until something happens to make them even more aware. And by that time, hopefully, most of you can also have the compassion and don't go to say, "Oh, I told you so. You should have went this. You should have done that." That's not the right way. Well, I don't want to say it's not the right way, but it's not the most harmonious way of having, at least showing them the compassionate side. Because when you can show them the compassionate side and showing them, "Hey, um, you tried this. I just wanted to let you know you tried this for X amount of time, and this what happened." So if we can be honest about ourselves and honest with ourselves that um, if we still go down this path, it's gonna just produce the same results over and over. Isn't it time? Isn't it time to step into a new paradigm of thinking so we can produce um, different or healthier results? That's the type of approach you should have, especially in certain situations like that. Because especially if you come off in a more degrading manner, that in itself has an energy. This is why I don't demonize certain diets and stuff, because in hindsight, in my opinion, the best diet is no diet, where the body is completely resting. And every diet, health conscious people in general would heavily agree with that in that sense, right? So if, the aspect of no diet, where all the diets can come together in unison, that's better for mankind, in my opinion. When we can practice more fasting in that manner, it's better for everyone. At the end of the day, consumerism. Consumerism is part of, you can say, the disease that is produced within our society that creates degrading situations. But hey, when we are more aware of that, the self-awareness, also, I would say, the medicine. I'm getting more in the habit, especially when talking about the problems. We got to talk more about the solutions too, right? And transmutation. Going back to the topic. All right, somebody wanted to hop on live here.
Oh, it's me.
Hey, greetings.
How you doing, man?
I'm
Is it
electric.
is
And
it
you?
is it Devin or is it Devon?
Savon.
Devon. Nice to meet you. I'm Preston, owner of Soul Touch Healing House. I'm a Reiki master, massage therapist, and reflexologist. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for hopping on, brother. Yeah.
Yes, sir. What's the topic?
Transmutation versus, not even versus, transmutation and toxic positivity.
Transmutation and toxic positivity. So I wanted to talk to you about toxic positivity. Can we rename that? Can we
Sure, sure.
rename that?
Oh,
Because my thing
yeah, I
is,
get it. I get it. I get it.
because
Yes,
either
yes,
you're
yes.
positive or you're negative, or you're
True,
forcing yourself to be positive.
true. In
Like,
that
are
sense.
you? Yeah, you know what I mean. So, are you really positive if you gotta force it?
I love that. I love that.
You know what I mean?
So
And it's just like,
I'm gonna put forced positivity then.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
transmutation versus forced positivity.
Okay, so what was I on? What do I want to talk about? Intent. Let's talk about intent. A lot of times people get into, meditations or energy work or, into extreme, I don't want to call them extreme diets because after you've been on them for a while, they're not extreme as you think. Because
It's
I've been,
lifestyle.
yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's more of the way you walk. I'll put it that way. So it's just like I've been plant-based for over, I want to say 8 years now. I call it plant-based because, things happen, in this kind of cipher that we live in. And it's just that, you know, I just want people to understand that as long as that your intent is correct, everything else should manifest itself how it should. You know what I mean? A lot of people go into meditations with, okay, well, I'm going to meditate and I'm just going to sit here with my eyes closed. And they pray for like something magical to happen, but your intent behind it was to for you to feel something and not necessarily to change. You see what I mean? I think a lot of people go in with the intent to change, but not the intent to feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of people who go into this kind of like spiritual journey actually knows what that energy feels like. You know what I mean? It's hard to get people into Reiki, get people into energy work, get people to do, I mean, I've never done scalar, I would like to, but get people into those more subtle modalities and they don't even know what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, feeling, it's what really not dictates, but has a major influence in our reality more than the thinking, more than people realize, because, hey, most people like to act off impulses. And what are those impulses? What's a driving factor for those impulses? The emotion. And the emotion is a feeling aspect. No matter how numb they are, there's somewhat of an emotional resonance that echoes into the action.
Yeah. I mean, and mostly emotion built off of memory. Things that you done been through time and time and time again. I mean, pretty much karma is memory. That's what karma is. And people have so much pent up, you know what I mean? That's why they keep going back to the same old habits. And you know what I mean? If you don't have what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. Even just common sense to notice that when you're not, in the space that you're supposed to be in, you know what I mean? That's the first step, knowing that there's something wrong. And just, I don't know. I just coming into a place where you understand that, okay, I'm not okay and something needs to change. I think that's where a lot of meditation should start, in my opinion.
And in the grand scheme of things, I think I want to share this quote. Someone might quote me, or you might correct me, but someone asked Buddha, "Hey, what did you learn in meditation?" He goes, "Nothing."
Wow.
That was the point. Nothing. I learned nothing in meditation.
Yeah.
That's the point.
And that's too much for people to understand. They don't understand that nothing is also something.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have created the number 0 if nothing wasn't something.
Exactly. So going back to meditation in itself, meditation, it's a grand, the reason why you said that too, the grand nothing, because within the nothingness, you find how everything is connected within that nothingness. Because 90% of our bodies in itself, I think it's space, right?
Yeah.
Beyond the water aspect, there's space. We're literally moving around in space.
Yeah.
Literally. So space is, you can say, it's really nothing as well, right? So tapping back into that, going into meditation in itself, meditation is also the aspect of focusing on in one direction, so to speak, in that sense, on one thing. And I like to say, what you do frequently becomes your frequency, right?
Yeah.
So life in itself, in my humble experience, that life itself is a meditation.
Correct. I mean, honestly, you're walking and meditating at the same time.
Exactly.
Subconsciously, not unconsciously, subconsciously. But my thing is, if through your life, your subconscious has been programmed to, be angry or be reactive or be sad, you know what I mean? How do you break that? How do you come to a place where you need to break that? How do you even know that you need to change? If, you don't have people like yourself or people like me or, other therapists and people who carry energetic modalities, how will you know? You know what I mean? If you're just on media all day and they're telling you, you're not okay, and what you need to do to be okay is, get vaccinated. You know what I mean? Or diet and exercise. Okay, you could tell someone to diet and exercise, but what does that encompass? how do I get rid of the emotional aspect of that's connected to it? You know what I mean?
Boom.
Even when it comes to food, like, okay, yeah, you've been eating meat 30 years. You're not just going to stop eating meat in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You could, but the karma will still be there because you're used to the emotion behind it. You're used to Thanksgiving. You're used to Christmas. You're used to Easter. You know what I mean?
And I like to say that the people are not addicted to, not even in terms of food, beyond food, or even like smoking cigarettes, for instance. It's more than the addiction to the physical substance. It's the emotional, but also the breathing pattern that invokes that whole experience that people are mostly addicted to in that sense. Like even going back to certain foods where you would normally have it with your family and Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and they're not on the same trajectory, it's going to be tough,
Yeah,
right?
very much so.
They're on a different alignment of frequency. So when we start to have that internal compassion towards our every movement, the more we can be not just easier on ourselves, but more intentional with ourselves, and we can finally see the power and feel the power. It goes back to the feeling, right? So the more we can feel more of ourselves, the more we can feel what external things
that don't belong to us
are doing to us. That way we have easier transitions towards letting it go.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed when I went plant-based. It was just like you literally feel more. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. So been eating salads, I've been eating fruit, I've been eating everything. But this, today I'm having a craving. I want to have this to say bacon per se. You know what I mean? Once you put that back inside of you, you're gonna automatically know the difference. Like literally in seconds, if anything. In seconds. And it's just like it's that kind of attunement that I just pray everybody gets. You know what I mean? I really do. I really, really do.
Forced positivity.
Yeah, pretty much. And oh God. Transmutation. Most things, if you agree, can change literally instantaneously. Even if you got to tell yourself every day, okay, I'm not finna smoke. All right, cool. I'm not finna smoke. That's your meditation for that day. Even if you have to walk around and just tell yourself all day, I'm not finna smoke, subconsciously, eventually it'll be your reality.
Mm-hmm. And I want to give everyone now a boost who's aiming towards that trajectory. Well, right now as we speak, most likely you're not smoking, right?
So I was about to before I got on live with you.
Well,
but that's the karma I've picked up. I'm trying to let it go, but there's a memory behind it.
Yeah, well let's also acknowledge the fact that you're not doing it right now in this exact moment in time.
Yeah.
This exact moment in time. So give yourself a pat in the back that you're not doing it right now. And the more we can acknowledge parts of ourselves with whatever trajectory we're aiming towards of getting rid of certain things, there are points within the day when you don't do it. So acknowledge yourself for the fact that you're not doing it at that exact moment in time.
Yeah.
And you'll start to breathe, quote unquote, life into that embodiment that is no longer too attached to that one thing you're trying to not trying, but are letting go.
Trying to become, because I mean I already am. If you say you are, then you become. You know what I mean? Like there is no past, present, or future. Everything is in the current. Like you're living your past, present, and future right now. You're creating it right now. So it's just like I'm not smoking now because that's what I want to be eventually, or that's what I am. It's just that I think we get caught up in. I think it is more. It's more of the breath than anything. You know what I mean? It really is more of the breath. But I lost my train of thought again. Once that under control, it's just that it's the memory. How do you get rid of that karma? You know what I mean? It's harder than you try to make it seem. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to do these affirmations and it's just all going to stop. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
So going back to the feeling, using the breath as a tool, that the breath itself is the extension of the soul. Using it as a tool when we can feel more of our soul in a sense. At that point, especially when the feeling is all-time high, that's a great time to imprint or have inner dialogue at a deeper resonant and let go of certain things, or feed more willpower or more breaths into the life form that you are aiming in that trajectory. So would you be up for a mini breathwork session? Because I was actually going to do that towards the end.
Of course.
Fire. All right, cool. So we're going to do some flex breathing with some thunder breaths with the holding of the exhale. So you're not holding any air in whatsoever. And during the hold of the exhale, I want you to tap on your heart when I say hold. Well, I don't even want to talk. Actually, we're going to use the flute today. So whenever you hear that, that's going to be the cue to hold your exhale and tap directly with your left hand on the heart. And when you're tapping on the heart, I want you to affirm to yourself, with this breath, I'm accepting more of the ability to let go of this addiction. Or with this breath, I'm accepting more of the energy to have control and willpower over choosing to take this, ingest this, smoke this, whatever the case may be for anyone on here, because I see a lot of people are joining today. Welcome. In that sense, that's a great way to imprint, because you're feeling, going back to the feeling aspect, that goes way beyond the conscious mind at that point as well, because the subconscious is the closest thing to the feeling aspect in the conscious mind. Because subconsciously it's running 24/7. In the conscious mind, it's more of the part of your willpower that you choose, keyword you choose, to turn on and work out, where the subconscious mind is working 24/7, 365, communicating with all muscles in your body, thought patterns, you name it. So what we're going to do with the flex breathing, you can have your hands down or just work with one hand. You can do this while you're walking as well. And I want you to squeeze everything, go to the bathroom with, only on the exhales, and let go on the inhales. So with the exhales, you just take a regular inhale, and then you're tightening, and you can literally flex your whole arm muscle and also make a fist and really squeeze your fist on the exhale. And then on the inhale, let go, especially if it's sunny out, definitely do it directly towards the sun. Open your hands on the inhale, let go of down, everything go to the bathroom with as well. And then on the exhale, squeeze everything, including this right here. And then whenever you hear this, that'll be the cue to hold your exhale, let all the air out, hold it, and squeeze everything, including everything go to the bathroom with, and start tapping on your heart and imprint those affirmations, if you want to call it that, or trajectory points of consciousness into your subconscious that way. All right? Because when we're holding nothing, we are communicating with everything internally. Because every time we take an inhale and hold it, you're technically, your body or your consciousness has to digest external information at that point, where there's no room for internal information at that point in time for deep communication. And this is a power of more of the parasympathetic style of breathing, because the parasympathetic style of breathing is dealing with rest, digest. What's happening with the rest and digest? That's really happening in a subconscious point. With sympathetic styles of breathing, where they have you hold, and certain kundalini stuff they have you hold, you're still dealing with optimal raises. Sorry, the cortisol raises a little bit, and you're digesting external resonance at that point in time. And that's why I focus more on the parasympathetic side. And you can go on and on and on and on, versus letting external emotions run your quote unquote day. And this is something you can do randomly throughout the day. And that's very powerful, because there are certain breathing techniques where you'll do and you'll pass out, have a seizure, all that type of thing. And is that really practical for long-term use, in a sense? If we're being really honest with ourselves, no, not really. Where they even did studies where they find people who celebrate or is in more gratitude for the little things in their everyday life versus that person that waits for that to hit a certain goal or certain things to get instantly that say, oh, I'm happy now because I hit this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who are more focusing on the little things randomly throughout the day and
Yeah.
picking up those little wins had way less stress factors
Yeah.
than the people who are just focused on one aspect in the day and then going on their everyday life.
And that's so crazy. Like that's actually one of the Reiki principles. It says, just for today, I would not be angry. And it's just like when you think about it, it's just like, I'm gonna take today to not be angry over, things I can't control. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be angry at the fact that, okay, yeah, I said I was gonna stop smoking yesterday, but guess what? I'm gonna try again today. You know what I mean? I just think that's absolutely beautiful, especially the fact that you focus so much on the exhale. Because I think people hold so much, and I'm just channeling this. I think people hold so much, you know what I mean? They just want to take in, take in, take in, but they don't really focus on the exhale. They don't focus on the release. They don't focus on getting rid of that garbage that you're holding in. You know what I mean? So I really do appreciate that, Devon.
From the source, the creator, we already inhale so much, but how much are we focusing on the giving right back to the creator? And I don't mean just breath alone. I mean, as you're looking, as you're gazing, you are literally inhaling information at that point in time. Subconsciously.
You're always absorbing things, but consciously it's your job to let things go. And that's what people forget.
Bingo. Oof.
Yeah.
I got to make a reel out of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh,
Fire.
man.
So everyone get in position, relax. You can have your hands up. I'm just doing it for just purposes for you guys to see. You can have your hands down in your lap and do the same thing. So we're going to start with the inhale, only with the nose. And we're going to start with in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Go straight into the silence of the breath. Breathe where you can't hear the breath at all. Let go of all those muscles. Just focus more on breathing with the nose, deeper and deeper exhales. Let the inhale come in naturally, but really slow down your exhales. And now we're going to go for round 2 in 3, 2, 1 with the inhale. Let's go. As you go into the silence, inhaling again, breathe silently. Keep the hand on the heart. Deeper and deeper exhales. Let go of the muscles. And start to swallow your saliva. Next round, last round, starting with the inhale in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, we just disappeared. My bad. We're back. But how we feeling, everybody? Yeah, I'll save this live for sure. Yeah, so what we did was thunder breathing and flex breathing. I don't know what happened there. Ah, there we go. All right, we're coming back. Amazing session. Felt great. Hello.
Man, some mess with the frequency.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's
Yeah.
yeah, when I started going live, doing one-on-one sessions online, I would notice on my older phone that it started like glitching out when we would go hours into it, and that's when I was like forced to upgrade my phone at that point.
Yeah, man. Let's say just after you. You know what I mean? Shadow banning is real. I definitely noticed that on your page, like just a lot of just small stuff will get blocked out, or it won't pop up on the timeline. But that's another conversation for another day. Like they're honestly blocking healers. They really, really are. I was on Twitter maybe last week, and I was doing my bio, and I was trying to type in Reiki Master, but every time I would try to save it, it would never save. Reflexologist, massage therapist who would not let me save my profile. So all I gotta say is, if you're a healer out here, just honestly be careful. look for other mediums to try to, connect with your people, because they don't want people to know about natural healing. They don't know that they don't want us to know that you can heal yourself. They don't want us to know that you don't need to eat as much as you think. You know what I mean? I'm dating this person who's, active gym goer or whatever. And they believe they got to have this, 2,500, calorie diet to pretty much gain something that's all vibration. At the end of the day, once you eat something, once it boils down and gets digested to the smallest form, it's a vibration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, man. There's a lot of things I want to talk to you about, but I'll connect with you after this.
For
Thank you.
sure.
Keep doing what you do.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother. And you're
Yes, sir.
welcome. You're welcomed on here anytime. All right.
I'll definitely be back.
All right. Peace. Love to all. Yeah. Does anybody want to hop on live and share their experience? I kept along. Oh, I kept going. How did that feel? Loving it. Hey, Lainey. Yeah, so what we just did there, you can do that while you're walking, especially when the holding part, if you're doing it while you're walking, for the holding part, you can just be still and do the tapping, and then take a couple breaths and then walk again and keep on doing the flexing back and forth. So, yeah, I hope this opens your eyes into breathwork in real time beyond the sit-down session and utilizing it in your daily life, because, like I said, life is a meditation. I think we should be at this point where in the trajectory that we should stop compartmentalizing meditation, or having that one set focus. Be like, hey, all right, my hour of meditation is this, and then I'm done for the day. When in hindsight, how are you bringing what you learned in the meditation, or at least that aspect of the day in your everyday life? You should learn how to echo that into real world instances, because I feel like that also, going back to force positivity, right? I feel like that also creates in a way dissonance, right? Um, especially when you, and that's being real. That's being real, because we are multidimensional beings. We're not confined. Our, like, going back to that one post doesn't define this person. Like, come on here, right? That one person doesn't define this person. That one action doesn't define this person. Going back to that. So what makes you think that one meditation defines you? How are you bringing all those different layers of meditation into real world instances with other vibrational beings and experiences? That's a huge key, because what you do frequently, which is what you do in your everyday life, is a frequency. It's a meditation. That's what you are building and building and building and building as life goes on. Yes, it has a rhythm. Indeed. Yes, meditation is everything you want. Hey, Lainey, if you want to go live, sister, let me know. You're more than welcome to. I don't see anyone in the live box. I kept seeing it pop up, and then it popped off. So I don't know what Instagram is doing, but you guys are more than welcome to hop on. Yes, conscious breathing has helped me transmute negative emotions and thought patterns into positive vibrations, turn negative into a positive. Yeah, and the more you start doing that, it'll show you that it goes a little bit beyond the negative aspect and goes a little bit beyond what we deem as positive. In hindsight, it's just vibration, right? It's literally just vibration.